This Shiloh Hendricks situation is literally causing a civil war and a racial divide in America. Everybody is losing their mind. And to be honest, I feel like this situation is pretty cut and dry. I don't understand where the huge controversy is coming from. I think a white woman or any woman of that matter calling a 5 year old black boy the hard ER in the middle of a park where other kids are around, I feel like that's pretty cut and dry. I don't really need too much context to figure out why that is deplorable and horrible, but apparently not everybody thinks that way.
Did you call the word? It is not business. You call him an. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? All right, that's what you say. Nobody digging to your. That little kid, you call him.
Because we currently live in a contrarian society and there's an ongoing race war online among Americans, this pretty cut and dry situation of a deplorable human being being exposed turned into her raising over $700,000 for calling a black kid the hard ER. So the racist or the sellouts will cope with their decisions of donating to a white woman who called an autistic black kid the hard ER by bringing up this Carmelo Anthony situation and claiming that because people donated to Carmelo Anthony after he was accused of murdering his white classmate. So because Carmelo Anthony received money for his legal defense, it's okay for them to donate to a white woman who called an autistic 5-year-old black kid the hard ER in the middle of a park. I'm not donating to Carmelo Anthony. I have better use of my money. Now, if I thought it was really about Carmelo Anthony, I could somewhat sympathize with being rage baited in that manner, but it's not about Carmelo Anthony, bruh. The same people who are claiming they donated to a racist white woman who called an autistic 5-year-old black boy the hard ER because of the Carmelo Anthony donations are the same people who donated to George Zimmerman when he was accused of killing Trayvon Martin. So now those people all of a sudden think that a person accused of murder shouldn't get donations. Get out of my face, bro. Obviously, it's not about Carmelo Anthony. It's about people identifying with Shiloh Hendricks. They identify with her. They see themselves in her, right? They see themselves in a racist because they're racist. That's what it's about, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about the Carmelo Anthony donations. And I'm not a supporter of Carmelo Anthony. I'll say I'm gonna wait until trial happens, bro. All right, I'm gonna wait until he clears his name or gets found guilty. And when he gets found guilty, sayonara. And if he's innocent, well, free him. But I'm gonna wait for the court process to play out. But for y'all to say y'all are upset because he received donations for a murder of his classmates, but the same people who are upset donated to George Zimmerman. So it's not about Carmelo Anthony, it's about them seeing themselves within Shiloh Hendricks. And for the small percentage of people that donated who are against George Zimmerman and Carmelo Anthony, well, your logic is flawed. This is like PETA claiming that they are anti-living organisms being eaten, and then in protest of humans eating living organisms, they go out and eat living humans. It just don't make sense. The logic would be inconsistent and flawed. Piers Morgan invited on Myron, Mark Lamont Hill, Lily, and other people to talk about this, to debate it, to give their perspective on the Shiloh Hendricks situation. And things went left fairly quickly. And Myron got a lot of backlash on Black Twitter for his comments made during this episode.
There are a couple of things that were said that I think are really interesting and important. One, there is an outside audience of people who are watching all of this and opportunistically using it for their own agendas and projects. You know, I have an investment in believing X, so I'm going to jump in the comments of this GoFundMe, etc. I have an investment in Y, I'm going to do the same thing. But what I don't want to do is compare these two things as if they're opposite sides of the same coin. For me, the intention of the campaign matters. In the case of this woman who is using the N-word, the woman isn't disputing using the N-word. The woman isn't disputing being racist. And the comments that are being left on the site before they were suspended and the attitudes behind it weren't saying she's being railroaded, she's being misrepresented. They were simply saying, we support racism. And I think that's disgusting, no matter who's doing it. On the other hand, the people who are fundraising for Carmelo Anthony, the argument here isn't yeah, we did something and we don't care, like the other woman. The argument is we're being misrepresented here. We're being railroaded.
I think Mark is on point. The majority of people who donated to this woman, I think they're in support of racism. I do think there is a select few where they're just sick and tired of being told what to do. They're just sick and tired of feeling oppressed by white liberals or liberals in general. They look at the Carmelo Anthony situation. They see the white teenager got killed. They see all the donations that Carmelo Anthony got, and they automatically think, yo, white folks are under attack. So now those people who've been brainwashed by social media is voting or donating to Shiloh, thinking they're donating to a cause when in fact all they're doing is donating for a racist woman, right? Is like, bro, they've been tricked into thinking there's a race war in the real world. It's not. It's on social media, entirely on social media. But this panel really reinforces what Mark said, because after Mark is speaking, this troll Lily, she's a white girl who went viral for saying the N-word on TikTok. And after she did it, she said that she only did it because she wanted to go viral. She got tired of working at 9 to 5 and she wanted to parlay this into a media career. I guess it worked because now she's on Piers Morgan, like giving her opinion that we don't care about. But she openly admits, I'm racist. I'll support Shiloh because I'm racist. And bro, this left Piers Morgan shocked. But I'm kind of glad she said that because that reinforces what Mark is saying.
I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context?
Right.
Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Black folks allow themselves to get tricked out of position by getting upset at people like this. Yo, she admits it. I'm a racist. Cool. Now we understand, right? Like who you are. There's no need to get upset to repost your stuff, to at you or tag you, to try to combat you. You're just who you are. Just go away in obscurity. But because of people like Lily who are adamant supporters of Shiloh, that proves Mark Lamont's point. People who are supporting like Carmelo aren't saying it's okay to murder white people. No. People who support Shiloh is saying it's okay to call a 5-year-old autistic black kid the hard ER. And that's where we're currently at in this discussion. Now, I would say though, I'm against people who were in like their hometown protesting for Shiloh to be arrested, protesting for her to go to jail. Now that's out. All right. That's out. Real Americans is freedom of speech. We may not like what she said, but she shouldn't go to jail for it, bruh. That's corny and that's despicable.
We're looking for the woman in question to be charged.
You need to charge Shiloh.
Many in the community feeling uneasy.
I'm a black person myself and I have black children, and I worry about them every day when they go outside.
Speakers included officials from Rochester's Community Engagement Response Team.
Justice needs to be more than a word right now. It needs to become a standard, okay?
A representative of the Somali community.
The pain this child endured is a pain that echoes through every one of us.
And Miriam Norton, who spoke on the city's effort to condemn racism and create a safe community for all.
The city of Rochester stands with you against all forms of discrimination, racism, and hate.
It's time to stop marching and we got to show some action.
As this story continues, protesters say they will continue to speak out against hateful speech and racism in the community. Reporting in Rochester, I'm Aaliyah Demery.
I think it's perfectly okay to call out both sides. Call out anybody who was online pushing for criminal charges over words being said. You know why? Because that person ain't good for America either. And then critique the other people who believe somebody should be a millionaire for calling a 5-year-old black kid the hard ER. those people aren't good for America either. We could say Shiloh is a despicable human being. I don't think her employer should still employ her because those values probably don't co-align with their company. I don't think Shiloh should suffer social consequences. I don't think the government should be able to step in and criminally prosecute somebody for words. Shiloh didn't threaten to hurt that kid. Shiloh didn't threaten to do harm to that kid. I don't feel like her words should put her in jail. Because once you start okaying and greenlighting the government stepping in and prosecuting people for hurting people's feelings, you know what's next, bruh? We next, bruh. All right? We go to jail for making white tears rain. Cut it out, bruh. Now, Piers redirected the conversation to Myron. Myron had the perfect alley-oop here. Myron could have shut up everybody on the internet who wants to call him racist or white supremacist. He could have shut them up, bruh. If Myron would have came out and said, man, I don't condone Lily, I don't condone Shiloh, I don't condone racism whatsoever, oh, Myron would have been up. Now you can never come online and call Myron a racist or a white supremacist. Now, I know in real life, I don't think Myron is a racist. I don't think Myron is a white supremacist in real life. I think Myron, because of the hate he gets online, I think Myron is fighting back against the people who hate him. And 9 times out of 10, the people who don't like Myron or want to cancel Myron are black folks. So when I see Myron do certain things online, I look at it as he's going against the people who he believes hate him and he views them as enemies, opposed to every black person. So Myron had the alley-oop, but he didn't dunk it, bruh. Myron instead skirted around the issue of whether or not he was willing to denounce Shiloh and Lily.
Bring in Myron Gaines, because you've been smirking and laughing. What's funny about any of this?
Well, I mean, I find it interesting that you guys want to virtue signal and, wag the finger and say she's a racist and everything else like this.
No, she admitted she's a racist.
Well, let me
I'm not wagging a finger at anybody.
She's
I don't need to
self-identified as a racist.
But Myron, with respect, Myron, I don't need to wag a finger when somebody says, yeah, I'm racist. I use the N-word against black people. I don't care. That's a racist. I'm not wagging any finger. I'm not accusing anybody. She is admitting it proudly. Even you can't defend that, surely.
Everybody is racist to some degree. The reality is it depends on, a lot of people want to be politically correct. A lot of people want to sit there and say, I'm not racist at all. We all have biases. We all have stereotypes. We all make jokes. We all are racist to some degree. Now, how racist you are is a whole other situation, but everyone is racist. That's number one.
Not everyone is racist. Everyone may be prejudiced just a little bit. Everyone may have some type of bias leaning towards their particular race. But not everyone believes that their race is more superior than other races and other races are subhuman. Not everyone believes that, bruh. And I feel like we do have to make a drastic line between prejudice and racist. Not everyone dehumanizes and call other races slurs that were used to dehumanize that race. I think Myron is just being loyal in a situation where he don't have to be loyal. She said it openly. She said, yes, I'm that. Hey, bruh, if she want to call herself that, then she's that. I don't support that. I could, and keep it pushing. You don't need to defend her. Now, Myron moved past Lily and gave his take on the Shiloh situation.
Everyone is racist. That's number one. Next thing I want to say, see, I think this Shiloh Hendrickson Metcalf situation is a microcosm of a much bigger problem. And that bigger problem is what I call systemic organized. And what I mean by this is for decades, we've had black people literally running around with black supremacy, committing crimes, not getting accountability for their actions, and then they blame the system for it. For example, George Floyd, criminal. Ferguson, criminals. Freddie Gray, criminal. A lot of these people are criminals, and what ends up happening is they challenge a police officer, they get into a physical altercation, things go left, they die, something happens, use of force is utilized, and then they want to cry about the result, when in reality, it's not the police killing black people, it's black people killing black people. And if you want to talk about black on white violence, black people kill white people 2 times as much. And on top of that, most of the shootings in America, a lot of the times, are white cops killing other unarmed white men. So this whole systemic racism or police brutality or, oh, it's all so messed up. The reality is this. Black people have been able to get away with a ridiculous amount of privilege in America for a very long time. They're able to be racist with impunity. They're able to call white people crackers without being challenged back. And quite frankly, white America's had enough of it, and the chickens have come to roost. Now, look, am I saying that's awesome? Am I saying that's great? No, but for literally the better part of almost 2 decades since the Obama era, we've had to have BLM and liberalism shoved down our throats, and quite frankly, we're all tired of it.
He's not wrong. I do appreciate him saying, is it right? No. Do I support it? No. I do appreciate Myron saying that, at least clarifying the side you stand on. But he's not wrong in terms of where this is coming from. Every oppressed group starts off here on the pendulum of justice. And as they advocate, as they push, they make their grounds, make their rounds. Eventually they push enough to where they finally get equality. But just as every oppressed group in the history of the world, they keep pushing because they can't recognize they finally got equality. They keep pushing. So now eventually the oppressed becomes the privileged. And once the oppressed sit in a position of the privileged, they don't want to give it up. So they keep pushing. And eventually, the people who are once in the privileged position, they start going harder to bring them back. But as they push harder to drag them back to the middle mark or drag them back to the mark that before the equality mark, that's kind of push and shove starts happening now. The people who sit in a position of privilege now, whenever the other groups try to bring them back, they feel that's oppression. Just like white folks. When black folks was trying to bring them back because they was too privileged, they felt it's oppression. So when Myron speak on BLM and the destruction that happened, when Myron speak on wokeism and the destruction that wokeism caused, this is just people of the conservative or on the right wing or white folks. This is them fighting back. And we can't ignore the cause of it. We can all acknowledge this is wrong. This is not cool. But you also have to acknowledge the cause, which Myron is right. Now, towards the end of this, Myron violated. What Myron did towards the end, I don't support it, okay? So Pierce begins to talk back to Lily, okay? And he begins to encourage her to say the N-word again. Bro, say the N-word. Say the N-word. Like, huh? So when Pierce began to kind of push or antagonize Lily to say the N-word, Mark Lamont Hill goes crazy. And while Mark Lamont Hill is going crazy, Myron starts waving like a gun or like a flag, like a gun flag, whatever it's called. He starts waving that with the N-word with the hard ER on it. And I'm like, Myron, come on, bro. Use a Scott. Myron is an intellectual, bro. Doing that is kind of crazy.
I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
well, go
not
on, then
have
say it. Say
you
the
will
M-
not have
Go on,
free
go on. Say the M word. Go on.
No.
Hang on.
I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. One Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Pierce. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much.
I feel like Mark Lamont Hill going off that crazy gives the power to people like Lily. Black folks shouldn't be that expressive, bro, when talking about the N-word. You know why? Because it gives them power. It makes them think that this is something they can say to really traumatize black folks because they don't like black people, all right? Look, I don't know not one person, including myself, who is going to bed traumatized because the N-word was used in front of us. Bro, I remember being at the Fargo Mall one time with my homie Sam. All right? I haven't seen Sam in 6 years. So Sam Tarwo, if you out there, Sam Tarwo, if you out there, bro, from Fargo, North Dakota, bro, hit me up, bro. I haven't seen Sam in a decade. So, we is going through Walmart, man, buying some stuff, and this woman just starts screaming at Sam the N-word, because I guess Sam accidentally bumped into her, but she just started screaming the N-word, and bro, we laughed. It wasn't something that we looked at as traumatizing. It was funny. We laughed at her because to see this lunatic in Walmart this upset, this angry at the age of 66 years old, she was old, close to 70, screaming this N-word. Yeah. All right. Now, what I will say though, man, is this shallow situation has brought out a lot of grifters. A lot of people has been grifting. All right, the NAACP raised $340,000 for the black boy, which I think that's not grifting. That's cool. But then you have other people coming out raising donations, promising to fight Shiloh. Like, I'm like, bro, y'all gotta cut it out, bro. Like, yo, y'all trying to monetize off this situation too doesn't really make y'all point too much valid, right? Like, y'all can't claim nobody should be able to profit off a 5-year-old boy saying the N-word outside of that 5-year-old boy, or sorry, being called the N-word outside that 5-year-old boy. And then you have like activists now starting their own GoFundMe to raise money to fight Shiloh in the court of law. Cut it out, bruh. But if you do want to support people who are doing it the right way, I do believe that Keandra Damone is doing it the right way. She's not asking for money. She has been like really going crazy. I think she like cracked the sourcing code or the coding source, whatever it's called, bruh, to expose the payment processor. So she has been doing things to really attack or go after like Shiloh to make sure that Shiloh don't really get any of the money, by trying to get the payment processor to cancel the website and the hosting gig and really trying to, like contact Jack Dorsey and Square to make sure that the payments get refunded. So Keandra has been doing it the right way. Other people who's been asking for donations to help fight it, don't give your money to them, okay? Like, support Keandra. She's not asking for money, but I feel like, a follow, a word of encouragement is probably great. Keandra is separate from Benjamin Crump. So regardless of your opinion on Benjamin Crump, Keandra is her own person and her own entity, man. But y'all let me know in the comment section. Do you guys feel like Myron actions on Piers Morgan live up to, I guess, being canceled? Let me know what you guys think, all right? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, to find out why Benzino panicked and walked out after being exposed mid-interview. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.